So it is an extension of that my materialism video by Karl Marx, historical materialism. I missed one part in that historical materialism to explain one para related to that thing. So it is just an extension of that historical materialism, where we will see social stratification. Okay, so if you want to see an introduction or the overview of that historical materialism, search for it, you will find it on my channel. Okay, so what was historical materialism? I will just give a small overview. Historical materialism, it is that this term was not actually used by the Marx himself. Marx used to talk about materialistic interpretation of history. Historical materialism is the way in which we are interpreting history. As per this method, society is divided into 4 stages. Okay, so that like we will, if we study history, then only we will get to know about future step. Okay, so I will just a small sentence. If you want more, just go to my previous video or on my channel, search for it, you will find it. Okay, so historical materialism is the way in which we are interpreting history. Okay, so in this way he has divided that method society into 4 stages that will be termed as a social stratification. So that 4 stages were primitive communism, the slavery system, even sometimes you will find it as both as a slavery system. Okay, feudalism and capitalism. Okay, so what do you understand by stratification? A stratification means categorization or hierarchy. Categorization may be done on the basis of power, wealth, income, race, education, gender and occupation. Okay, so Karl Marx believed that one of the main reason of the worst society is because of capital only. He divided society as a primitive slavery system, feudalism or capitalism. You will even find as a classless society for the primitive one, that because it was a very starting human beings, where there was no society, where there was no community. Then you will find ancient, then you will find feudal. Okay, so what do you understand by that primitive communism? Here the concept of property, exploitation, class and state was not there. Here the concept of property, exploitation, class and state was not present. Okay, technology was not there, that productive technology was not present. Even if like by rubbing with stone you are creating fire, so these are the technology that later emerges. Now we are getting fire through a matchstick, so through evolution only. So in the primitive one there was nothing that much productive. Production was limited and for self-consumption. In this primitive society, production was limited and it was for self-consumption. There was no any idea of storing the food, that today we will store, we will use it later. No, today we will kill and eat it, and it will for the self-consumption. I am not doing business kind of thing that I will grow food for the people living in my society. I am just taking food for my self need. no surplus concept. There was no surplus concept. As surplus is not there, so no private property. Why you are creating surplus thing? Why you are creating any extra? Because you want, because there is a need for that, and it will create a private property for it, like it is for the self consumption. So there was no surplus concept, so no private property. Everybody were living in a community, so there was no need of private property, no exploitation, no etc. This kind of society is communist society. This kind of society, communist society, even today if you find in any world there, they will be claiming that we are a communist country, but you will never find true communism. Okay, so it is owned by community, it is owned by community. Life might be difficult in this society, but it did not have a conflict or exploitation. Okay, so now we will see gradually after primitive, technology automatically improves. Now after this we will see that technology will improve. Now like watching, like every day they are doing anything. Even if they found accidentally something else, they are observing, like by doing a particular thing I am making my work easy, like a wheel. By walking on going through a wheel, it will save my time. So gradually after primitive, technology automatically improves, and as technology improve, production will also improve. That after primitive, technology will automatically improve, thus production will also improve, and surplus production will happen, and who will taking less and more will depend upon the power. Okay, now here will the concept of power will come. Okay, that surplus production will happen, and who will taking less and more depend upon the power. This is very simple. I am writing very simple sentence, that after primitive technology, after primitive society, that technology will automatically improve, and thus production will also improve, and as the production will improve, surplus production will be there, and who will get the extra? That will depend upon the power. It will lead to private ownership, means of production. Now it will lead to private ownership, means mode of production. Some will have the property and some will be propertyless. Class division will start. Class division will ultimately lead to exploitation. Dominant class then will create an institution to take care of them. Okay, so a state will come. Now the state will come. A state will protect the interest of its creator. So I'm till here, it is the part of primitive communism, and these things I am talking about after primitive communism, like how will it evolve. So let me put it in another section. Okay, now we will talk about the slavery system. Slavery system is nothing but the ancient system. In some book or in some thing, some topic, or by some author, you will find that slavery system and the primitive communism are together. They will merge it together, but no, primitive will be different. Let it primitive will be a first one. Let it be simple. Okay, so ancient society will come after this. In the beginning of society, it will be divided into master and slave. In the beginning, it will be divided into master and slaves. Masters are the haves and the slaves are the have-nots. This is the most important part. Masters will be called as haves and slaves will be called as haves not. The slaves carry out all the production work. The slaves will carry out all the production work, and the masters will live on the labor of earth. The master will live on the labor of slaves. Master exploits the slave, and estate serves the interest of the master class. Legal institution will come and it will protecting the master. State will the part of the superstructure, and state will be created by the masters as the base. Okay, as master will be act as a material, and idea that will emerging as a legal institution will be act upon that material, and the superstructure will form over it. So if you want to see a materialism topic, I have made a separate video for it. You can go through it and understand this concept. So after this you will see feudalism. Okay, so what is feudalism? Now in the feudalism, now the land will be owned by the feudal lords. Now after land we will see capital, that money will come. Till now land will be act as a money for them, land will act as a power for them. So peasants have to carry out the production of work. The peasants have to carry out the production of work, and land will be owned by the feudal lords, and peasants have to carry out the production work. Slave system is succeeded by feudalism. Slave, that is after slave system, feudalism will come, and the slave system will be replaced by the feudal mode of production. That the slave system will be replaced by the feudal mode of production. Division of society into feudal lords and peasants will be taken. Division of society will be taken as the feudal lords and peasants. Feudal lord owns the means of production. Feudal lords will own the means of production. He will the owner, and the feudal lords are like parasite who thrive on the labor of peasants. Feudal lords will be like parasite who thrive on the labor of peasants. Feudal lords will exploit them and the peasants will resist. Their resistance is ruthless, crushed by the state. When the that peasants will resist, so it will be crushed by the state, because the state will also help the feudal lords only because they have the power, and feudal lords are working as a state in that society, so they will do the work for themselves only. So peasants' resistance will be ruthlessly crushed by the states, and if they continued resisting the state, then it will crush the resistance. And lords are dominant and exploiting class. Peasants are dependent and exploited class. Understand? Just write this one more sentence. That lords are dominant and exploiting class. Okay, and peasants are a dependent and exploited class. Okay, lords are the dominant and exploiting class, and peasants are dependent. They are dependent upon them. They are dependent upon the lords, and they will be termed as the exploited class, and their lords will be termed as the exploiting class, who is exploiting the peasants. Okay, now capitalism, primitive, ancient, feudalism and capitalism. First was primitive, then was ancient society, then was feudalism, and then capitalism will emerge. Okay, so capitalism succeed here feudalism, and division of society into the bourgeois and the proletariat class. Okay, division of society will be into, here the division of society in this feudalism was landlords and the peasants. Here the division of society will be landlords and peasants. Here the division of society will be bourgeois. It will turn bourgeoisie also, bourgeoisie and proletariat class. Bourgeois means middle or rich class, and proletariat means poor class. So here the division of society will be in this form, and now economy is playing the role here. So proletariat class carries out the production. Here the proletariat class will carry out the production, and the bourgeois class owns the means of production. Here feudal lords will be owns a means of production. Here the bourgeois will owns a means of production. Thus it's just an advanced version of it. There is nothing much difference. They get the subsistence wage, uninterrupted supply of labor force and maintain. Wages will be very less here. Wages will be very less for the proletariat. Wages will be very less, and worker will remain poor, and they have to continue working because they are poor. Just try to understand this thing. Worker will remain poor and they have to continue working because they are poor, and they are not getting wages very much. So just to collect more wages they have to work. And the production, whatever is done here, the production is done for profit. As per Marx, production should not be done for profit. Like if you are making a thing of rupees 100 and you are paying a labor rupees 10 monthly, then that labor will not be in the position to buy that product. So as per him, if you are making a thing of rupees 10, then the labor should be given income of 10 only, so that they will have the ability to buy that product. Why you are creating extra money? For your own benefit. So production is for profit. The desire to maximize the profit leads to reduction in wages, deteriorates the lots of working classes. So if you want to maximize the profit, leads to the reduction wages, so the wages will be reduced. Like if you want to generate more profit, the wages will be reduced. Proletariat pushed into a situation where it has nothing to lose except the chains. Like now if they start revolution, so they are nothing going to lose. Whatever the things are there, it was for bourgeois. Bourgeois has the right over it. Proletariat does not have right over it. So if they revolt, then also they are not going to lose anything. This leads to the proletariat revolution, as the only thing proletariat can do is breaking this chain. This will lead to proletariat revolution. In this way they can change existing structure of the society, and the workers will then own the means of production. That society will be truly classless society and communist society. But even today you won't find truly communist society. Okay, so in my previous video of historical materialism, I have given one statement. I talked about this thing like historical materialism designates the view of the course of history which seeks the ultimate causes and the great moving power of all important historic events in the economic development of society, in the changes in the mode of production and exchange, with the consequent division of society into distinct classes and the struggle of these classes. It means it is a very jumbled kind of sentence, so I will break it. This statement is telling that in this it is the view or way to interpret the history and the causes of the events, and we have to find out the economic development of the society, and base of the society changes everything. What the society change depends upon the base, and in this process society will be divided into classes and the struggles of these classes. Okay, and it tells that how society or it tells how the history has been shaped up through the process. Okay, so then the mode of production will start. So we will talk this thing mode of production in the next video or in the different video. Thank you.